Hey everybody. Hope everybody's enjoying their week and taking time to enjoy things that they love, and whether it be family, friends, or just enjoying this warmer weather we've been having outside. Right now it's raining here behind me, as you might be able to see, but we have had some really nice weather outside. Hoping you're finding time to enjoy that and indulge in that a little bit. I'm coming to you this week just to kind of share a little devotional that I've been having on my heart and my mind over the past several weeks. We're looking at our current situations have not been ideal over the last few months, and this has kind of been building in my heart and mind. These thoughts that I wanted to share over the last several months. But I wouldn't call these times that we're in normal, right? With the pandemic going on, raging on, and it affects every facet of our life, and what we consider normal things, routine, run-of-the-mill operations, so to speak, going to the grocery store, getting a cup of coffee, even spending time with those that we, enjoy and love, working. All of our work circumstances, for the most part, have been altered in some way or changed. Our protocols and our systems have been, modified in some way to, adapt for this situation that we're in. So, there's nothing wrong with us to acknowledge that, that we have these times that are unique. And there's nothing wrong even to acknowledge that, these times are not what we would prefer, or not what we would particularly, want or enjoy. If we look at the situation in a previous time or a future time, and we look kind of like in a snow globe, so to speak, we look into our current circumstances, and probably it would appear that these circumstances, or these normal things that we are used to doing, are a little bit distorted, and dare I say, a little bit shattered. Our normalcy has been shattered somewhat. Our normal routines that we have, like I said, have been distorted. Going to the store is a whole different experience than it used to be. Different activities that we used to do are unique, and with that acknowledgement, and realizing that, maybe our situations are changed, maybe our situations are shattered, our normal situations that we're used to, and our routineness has been shattered. And with those pieces of shattered normalcy, and really our lives being shattered in front of us, it's easy for us to be upset. It's easy for us to be a little bit sad or depressed. It's easy for us to be frustrated even. Those emotions are expected, right? We know, though, that, in our lives, those emotions are not something that we want to be, on the lookout for, and really play a dominant role in our life. Our God has, given us other emotions and other feelings and other visions for us to put ourselves towards, for us to look at and incorporate into our lives. So with these shattered pieces of our routines, and these shattered pieces of our what used to be normalcy, so to speak, I want to challenge our perspective. I want to challenge our perspective, looking at the shattered pieces, not as shattered pieces that can't be picked up and put back together, but I want to look even beyond that, because a lot of times, in the Bible, God talks about restoration. Restoration is a very common thing in the Bible, whether it be restoration of a people, a restoration of a building, restoration of a individual. Looking at restoration as the renewal of a item, a person, or a thing to its former place or former self, so to speak, right? But I want to challenge us to look beyond restoration even. What if God not only wants us to take the shattered pieces of our normalcy and the shattered pieces of our routine in our lives even, what if he wants us not only to be able to restore those, but to renew those as well? And when I say that, I mean, what if God wants us to renew ourselves, take time to renew ourselves, mind, body, and soul, to be able to, be the hands and feet in the middle of the storm, to be able to be the light in the chasm that we all are now traversing, right? What if our shattered circumstances can be our opportunities? That's what I want us to kind of focus on today. And as I think about that, I'm sure all of you out there, and I've had a hard time adjusting in some ways to this situation, but When I go to, let's say, the grocery store, and I go there, and it's a very surreal experience now, very unique, or it's kind of like a Twilight Zone, right? I look around, and God has really led me in my heart and my mind to focus on things that indicate those shattered pieces of normalcy to be restored. And when I say that, instead of focusing on the uniqueness of our situation or this distortion of it, so to speak, I focus on the cashier, and I look at, her or him, as it may be, working extra hard to make sure that their family, my family, and everybody there is safe. They're wiping down the counters, they're, bagging their items themselves. They're putting a lot more effort in and time, and they're probably not being paid anymore, right? Let's be honest. But and I look at that and I'm like, wow, that's a blessing. And I look at the conversation that we have, through the masks that we wear and through the plastic glass that is there, which, yes, does shield us from germs, but it doesn't shield and, prevent the care in the conversation from going across, and the concern and the wishes for well-being to that individual and back at me. I think of, people that are teaching their kids at home, that, parents, uncles, grandparents, aunts, that are teaching their kids at home, grandkids at home, their nieces and nephews at home, and, still working a full-time job. I think of, educators that are still adapting to our current situation and finding new ways to really, create an educational environment that is safe and profound and serves the purpose of the students and the school and the parents. I think about, the countless individuals in countless industries that have kept going and, maintained a steadfast heart and, desire to do their job and adapt to situations. It's nothing short of heroic. I think about activities that we used to, partake in that are right now just not a possibility or are not, something that, is a norm for us anymore. Going to the movie theater, for example, has become movie nights at home. I'm looking at, people that are going out grocery shopping for people that are immunocompromised and allowing themselves to help out somebody who may not be able to get out themselves and to bring their groceries to them. I'm looking at, going out to dinner as a family, turning into learning new recipes at home and finding fun in that, enjoyment in that. I'm looking at, a hug, that is sometimes, currently a glance, a loving glance and a smile and a gesture. I'm looking at a text message, which is a very easy way, to communicate, right? And I'm looking at, that as, being turned into a phone call, because we like to hear someone's voice and tell them personally that we love them and we care about them and ask them how they're doing and to reach out to them. I'm looking at the shattered pieces, and I'm trying to really focus on what God would make out of those pieces. Not only would he bring them back together, would he restore them, but he'd also find renewal in that experience as well. And to allow ourselves to find new ways to reach out towards one another, to find new ways to show care towards those that we meet, to show, people that are suffering, that don't have as much as us, to give them what we have, what we can. And I just want to invite you to, partake in that, this week and beyond, as you guys are experiencing, distortion of the norm, so to speak. And, just a little bit of a normalcy, like I said, shatteredness in all areas of our lives. To remember that God sees that. He knows that. He empathizes with us during this, and he loves us. But not only that, but he sees not only that shatteredness, but he sees what that could become. And it may not be what it was before. These circumstances, may not, be molded back by the great potter who is God into the same exact, thing as was before. But what can we do to renew our ability and to renew our heart, to renew our mind, to truly be the hands and feet of God? And I'm going to close with a song that I want you to feel free to partake in this week. It's available on YouTube. It's called Beautiful Things, and it's by the group called Gungor. And it's a beautiful song, and it kind of speaks to what I'm speaking about today. And the first verse says to us in, its own words, I'm not going to say the words out loud, repeat them, but the first verse does speak of, painful or hard times being real, and wondering, how are we going to be able to find our way through that, right? How are we going to be able to find our way through these unique and uncertain times? And then the second verse in the chorus says to us, I'm going to read these off for us. All around, hope is springing up from this old ground. Out of chaos, life is being found in you. And then the chorus goes, you make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. And, to be reminded that in the middle of, shadow times, to be in the middle of, hard times, difficult moments, situations and circumstances, God can take those pieces. He can take us. He can take our situations and remind us of our gifts and blessings that we have, and allow us not only to overcome those moments and to get through them, but to be able to, transform the shattered pieces, not only into what they once were, but to make them more for His glory. And I just think that's a wonderful and great reminder that He can take broken things, you and me, in our situations, and turn them beautiful, reshaping those and truly making them more. Praise be to God. Thanks so much.